Today we're talking about PDF markup solutions for Mac-based practice. I think we had talked to Peter last time and we kind of poked at it a little bit, but we're going to unpack this and help folks who are on a Mac-based office figure out how to communicate either using Bluebeam or some kind of other Adobe solution. So Boris, you want to set up the problem for us real quick?
Sure. So Bluebeam is most widely accepted tool for PDF markups for many architects and engineers. And up until a few years ago, they had a native app for both Windows and Apple machines. However, they've stopped supporting the Apple version of the product, I believe in 2018, maybe 2019, and have halted development so that people that are running their office on Mac OS are unable to use Bluebeam. Now, Bluebeam has a lot of kind of tools and graphics that really make the job for PDF markups easy. On top of that, a few of cities and have accepted Bluebeam as a tool for their approval process.
Like San Francisco, Peter told us, yeah.
Yep, San Francisco, and there's many more. So you actually have to use Bluebeam if you want to do electronic approvals and not physically bring drawings to their offices. So yeah, so that's where we stand right now. So if you're a Mac-based office, you're basically locked out of that ability as well.
Gotcha. So as a Mac-based office, you're out of luck, so to speak, because Bluebeam does not run on Mac anymore. So we're going to talk about 3 different possible solutions and unpack some of the pluses and minuses of each because they all have them. The first way to do this, and I think Peter's company is doing that, and some other companies are doing that, is what, Boris? Putting a PC there.
Yeah. So one of the workarounds that a few firms that we work with are doing is getting 1 or 2 or maybe 3 PCs, depending on the size of the firm and how many people actually need to work in Bluebeam at a time, and use those PCs to join the sessions for the approval process, but also use those PCs to actively edit and mark up PDFs, right? So you have a firm of, let's say, 10 people, you get 2 PCs specifically to run Bluebeam. Now you can also then repurpose those to do additional tasks. It depends on on the machines that you're getting. We have a firm, for example, that does both. They have a powerful 3D visualization software, Lumion, running on a PC, and also using that for Bluebeam as well. So basically, that's the way to work around the problem, is to have a PC or a couple of PCs in the office and use those for Bluebeam.
Yeah, but what are the downsides of that?
Well, I think the downside is, right, what if you have more people that need to mark up PDFs? Or what if you need, you're basically, I think you end up with using Bluebeam for just certain things like getting approvals, and you're not utilizing the full functionality of the tool. And then on your day-to-day, right, as people need to do markups and send PDF drawings back and forth, you're using another tool such as Adobe Acrobat.
Okay. Okay. And what about, like, this is one we talked pre-show, if the office is semi-remote or remote, then that solution sort of, you can't VPN into a PC. That makes no sense, does it?
No, I mean, you could set up a remote access to that computer, right? But again, it's like one person can only have access at one time. So some of the workflow still goes out of the window. And some of the benefits of Bluebeam still go out of the window. So you're really just doing this kind of as a makeshift solution and not having full capabilities of the program for everybody.
All right, so running a Bluebeam PC could be a little clunky, or could be a good solution if everybody comes to the office and maybe take turns or whatever. But Bluebeam is not being fully utilized. There's a cost to a PC. There's a cost to maintaining a PC, but you can run other programs on it and use it for add value to its existence by using like visualization software and stuff like that. Yeah, so okay, sounds good. So Jason, thank you for joining us again. Apologize for the LinkedIn broadcast not working, but we've covered number one solution or proposed possible solution, a workaround for using PDF markup for Mac-based offices, and that is running a PC, standalone PC that basically functions as your window into Bluebeam and communications with cities and whatever using Bluebeam. What is another way around it? So that could be a clunky solution. It may work. It works for Peter, I think, and some other companies we support. But there's also some words about cloud solutions for Bluebeam. What do you know about it?
So, Bluebeam has been touting that for a while. It's Bluebeam in a browser, basically. And they finally delivered something this year. So Bluebeam 2021, if you get a full license version for Bluebeam, you also get something called the Bluebeam Cloud, which allows you to run Bluebeam on your iPad, to run it on your, various mobile devices, and also running it on your computers, whether it's Mac or Windows, in a browser. So you can just, it supports Chrome, it supports Edge, it also supports Safari. So you can basically access the Bluebeam app in the cloud, upload your drawings there, or if you already have a Bluebeam session set up, you can just join the session and basically utilize it that way. So that solves the problem of not having a native app for a Mac, because now you can just use your browser to get to the Bluebeam software. It's been released fairly recently, so we've been doing some testing, and one of our customers is actually testing it as well right now. There's some downsides to it, just because it's so new. It doesn't support all of the tools, and by default, it doesn't have any tools in your tool set. There's very few that are in your cloud tool set. So one thing you could do is, if you have a full version of Bluebeam, is you can export your toolbox from Bluebeam, and then import it to the cloud and use it that way. But there's not all the tools that you export and import can actually work. So there's a few that don't work. They just show up as gray boxes and you can't really do anything. But some of the basic ones, like lines and squares and cloud and annotations, those things work pretty well. And from what we've heard, is they're going to be adding more and more functionality to this cloud version. So eventually, hopefully very soon, it'll support all of the tools that you have in your toolbox, whether it's locally installed or in the cloud.
Now, besides limited tools, what other downsides have you seen for the cloud solution? By the way, boys and girls, you're on the call, feel free to either type in a question or ask, using the audio as we go through this. But what are the downsides outside of limited tool set?
So I think that would be the primary downside. In our limited testing, that's what we've found out. There's some additional downsides around printing as well. So because you're using a browser printer dialog and not the system printing dialog, depending on which browser you use, you may have different options for printing, and it may not be all the full options that you experience in the Bluebeam native application. So the options are fairly limited, like paper sizes and how to add them. There's additional customization that needs to be done there as well. And I think Bluebeam needs to do some additional development on getting all those options in there.
Is it a viable solution, like realistically thinking right now?
Right now, I think we'll call it a beta, right? But if somebody wants to test it out, I think that would be awesome. and kind of can get to work and see if they can replicate their on-premise workflow using this Bluebeam Cloud solution. They can make it work, right? It's better than not having an app at all on your computer.
Thank you guys for joining us. We just joined Barbara. Apologize for LinkedIn not being able to translate, broadcast this show, but we just covered running an individual PC, and we'll send you guys a recording of this show. We just covered, Boris and I covered running a Bluebeam dedicated PC in the office and some of the pluses and minuses, a little clunky, but it's functional, it works. The other thing we talked about just now is the cloud solution for Bluebeam, which Boris basically explained is currently a beta. So there's some limitations, including printing, and your tool set that when you export out of Bluebeam app into the cloud, that may not work. Some of the functionality, basic stuff works, but some functionality does not. So it's more of an experimental or beta solution at this stage. So if you're Mac Office and you want to use Bluebeam Cloud, you can, but you're going to be guinea pig essentially. As they develop, it'll become better and better. But is that accurately?
Yeah.
Am I doing a good job?
Yeah. No, I've
Packaging it in,
tested some of these potential solutions or workarounds as well. And is the cloud something different than just logging in to your Bluebeam session online? Like, is it a different app?
Yeah, so it's actually an app that runs in the cloud.
Okay.
And you can upload your PDF drawings to it. And what we'll do is when we send out the recording for the meeting, we'll also send out some instructions on how to test out the cloud, or we'll put a couple links in the LinkedIn event as well.
Okay.
Because so basically, you can go to the bluebeam.com, register for a trial of the full Bluebeam version, and you'll also get an access to the cloud version, which is app.bluebeam.com. And once you log in, you kind of get a similar canvas, so to say, as you do on your regular Bluebeam, except it's very limited in terms of the tools that you see. And then,
okay.
Yeah.
Because
So
when we tried it, it seemed like it was just like everything had to be a session, and that like you would have had to upload your PDFs through a session on someone's actual, Bluebeam on their desktop or whatever, and then to use it online, you would have had to like log in via a browser and open that session to work on the document. But if this is something else, that sounds great.
so I guess what was the issue was doing it through a session?
Well, it just seemed like it was going to be really annoying to have to make every document you want to work on a session.
Okay, that's fair.
Instead of just being able to directly open something.
I'll double check with our engineers who tested it, just to make sure that we're, I'm not making a statement that may or may not be true. But we do have a document for the workflow that we used, and if you guys want to try that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool beans. What about cost, Boris? What's you said the cloud is now rolled into a normal license cost, or is it separate?
Yeah, so if you're getting a version 21 license, you're also getting access to the cloud version, and that all depends on, so they used to have 3 different versions. They still have 3 different versions. It's just they're named differently. They used to have, I think, standard, CAD, and extreme. And now, because it's so new, I have to look this up. But just give me a second here. Yeah, now they have basics, core, and complete. So I think the feature set is fairly similar to, the basic correlates to what CAD used to be. The core correlates to what, the basic correlates to what standard used to be. The core correlates to what CAD used to be, and then complete correlates to what extreme was. And basically, you could get a license beforehand where you would just buy a license as a proprietary license and then pay maintenance to get support and get the latest versions. So right now it's actually an annual fee per license. So every year you have to renew, which in most cases you renew anyway because you renewed the maintenance. But yeah, the price is basically $240 per year for the or $20 a month for the basic, and then from there it goes to $300 and $400 for the other versions. So I think that, you know, from standpoint of pricing, it's fairly similar. It may become more expensive, but usually, you know, for people who renewed the maintenance, it's fairly similar to what it used to be before.
Gotcha. Thank you for that clarification. So with this Bluebeam, if you guys have Bluebeam questions, feel free to type or ask on voice. But the other piece we want to explore is using Adobe as your primary tool for markup.
Right. So I mean, as we've kind of discussed, the Bluebeam workflows may not be fully baked out, right? Or they have limitations. So another thing you can look at is actually replacing Bluebeam altogether with using Adobe and using Adobe PDF, either standard or professional, to mark up your PDFs. And Adobe has capabilities which are very similar to Bluebeam. Is just some of those tool sets need to be custom created. And, it's not, I guess the packaging is not as easy and as not user-friendly as it is in Bluebeam. But once you customize your ribbons enough, and once you customize your tool sets enough, you can have a lot of the functionality that Bluebeam has right at your fingertips as well. So, for us, as we're working with Mac-based firms, this is kind of, if we can do A or B, we would recommend doing C so that people can still get their work done. And most many Mac-based offices are using Adobe PDF as their primary tool right now.
So is there a version of Adobe that also has all the measurement capabilities of string dimensions and area and
so that's the limitation, right? So if you're not purely doing it for PDF markups, takeoff is not part of the Adobe solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I wish I had a better answer for you, Barbara.
I'm curious, have you guys tested PDF Studio at all?
We have not. No. I believe we have. I believe somebody else has mentioned this before, but for right now, I mean, also, as we're doing IT consulting and work with businesses, we want to make sure that the solutions that we're recommending also have the backend capabilities and the support.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're always looking forward to kind of testing new tools, but it's not something until we test it out and until we know that the support is there, because the worst thing that can happen is, yes, the tool looks good, we roll it out, and then they stop development, right?
Yeah.
Or the tool looks good, we roll it out, and there's an issue, and to get support, it takes 3 days. So those things we also have to watch out for. So we haven't tested it yet. Somebody has brought it up before. We'll probably look into it more in the next few months and see if that solution is actually viable.
Yeah, so far it's been the best replacement that I've tested for Bluebeam
In terms of
on
technical
Mac.
capabilities,
Yeah, it
or
has
all the other things I mentioned as well.
a lot of similar tool capabilities, and it's actually a lot cheaper than most other ones. I think it's a German app.
Okay.
But yeah, that's one I'm currently testing right now. But I also just hate Adobe, so I'm a little biased.
Yeah, so would love to hear how that goes, Barbara. By the way, that would be big help. Peter mentioned that he found her. I don't know, he put a question mark in there, so I'm not sure if that's a question or a statement. Peter, please help me out with that. He said, I found a measurement tool in Found a measurement tool in Acrobat DC. So please clarify if that's a question or a statement. So there may be a measurement tool there. And then Steve says, what about running boot camp and installing Windows on Mac? I knew that was going to come up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's a viable workaround, except, right, to me, and I think I've mentioned it multiple times before, people want to use the Mac because also of the Mac OS and its abilities. So constantly switching between a Windows and a Mac environment would not necessarily be the most efficient way of doing things. I mean, it's still a viable solution. It'll probably work for, I think, a smaller organization, maybe 1, 2, 3 people, or for your personal Mac, right? But not necessarily when you're trying to implement this workflow in a larger business of 10 people or plus. I think at that point, like the inefficiency of switching back and forth, or at that point, you just run Windows on your Mac, right? And kind of defeating the purpose of wanting to have the Mac in the first place. So although the solution technically works and it could be a good solution, I don't think it's a solution that will
Scalable?
make you more efficient in a business setting.
Do we have customers actually using that?
No, we don't.
Not a single customer. Okay. Interesting. And Steve, if you are using it and using it successfully, let us know. That'd be kind of interesting to poke at.
Yeah, no, the reason I asked is, and thanks for hosting this, is, my office actually is PC based. We're a larger firm, but working remotely, a lot of work that I'm doing is PDF based. I'm a little more senior. I'm not in Revit every day. And so I'm overseeing the work of others and consultants and submittals and RFIs. So I'm in, the Bluebeam world a lot. But I don't always want to remote in, working remotely and having to tunnel in and sometimes there's bandwidth issues. And I used to have Bluebeam on my Mac here at home and also on my laptop and on my iPad. And it was great. But once they stopped supporting it, I was like, oh, come on. I didn't want to transition over my home office to a PC just because everything's kind of set up on my Mac for many years and in the Apple interface of things. So I've been wondering if I run boot camp and install Windows. I've never done it before. I don't know how it works. But yeah, it wouldn't be scalable for me. It would just be for working remotely.
Right. It'll basically be for your personal laptop. So yeah, in that sense, in that instance, it makes a lot of sense. But so you'll basically need to, now another option is to run parallels, right? And run parallels on your personal Mac and have a Windows environment as part of it as well. So both of those options are kind of open to you. In both instances, you'll need to get a Windows license. And so there is some additional cost there. And then once you're in a bootcamp environment, you would have to switch back and forth, right? So boot into Windows, do your Bluebeam work, and then switch back to Mac and do your other work or your personal stuff. In a Parallels environment, you'd be able to have a shortcut on your desktop that would launch Bluebeam inside of Parallels. So that would probably be more streamlined.
Well, Barbara said it's pretty slow and had a lot of lag. So thank you for that. Continue, Boris. I just wanted to add some color to your Parallels statements.
Right. So in that sense, yep. So anytime you run virtualization anywhere, it's going to be slower than running on physical devices. Now, some people are okay with that. Some people, it all depends on how you work and how fast you work, I guess. But yeah, that's another option, may not be as high performing. So those are, I think, if we look at them, from a preference standpoint, for better performance, you would use Bootcamp, but also you lose time booting in and out of Windows. Parallels may not be as fast running the app itself, but it'll be faster kind of getting into the app and doing your work. So I guess there's a pluses and minuses to both. It all depends on how your workflow is and what makes it easier for you.
All of this could be a moot point in 6 months or so when Bluebeam Cloud gets their right? Gets their
Yeah,
own-
if we have a fully built cloud version, which Bluebeam has promised, or not cloud version, fully built web accessible or browser accessible version, which they have promised since 2017, 2018, then yeah, I mean, that will all be in good shape.
Perfect. All right. You guys have any other questions for Boris regarding, it could be related to PDF markup, but if you have something else, we're happy to help.
Hey guys, this is Peter. Quick question.
Hi,
Are you hearing me okay?
Yep.
What was I going to say? Oh, there is an sort of outdated iPad Bluebeam review app. I was tempting to use that as a workaround just for accessing sessions with the city of San Francisco, but do you have any experience with that and the functionality of sort of the tool set?
Honestly, I don't think we have anybody who's using it, so I'm going to just say we haven't had any experience with that. I know we still have a few offices that are on the older version of Mac OS and still running, the old version of Bluebeam for Mac, right? Just because they've had the Mac for a while. But that's also kind of like slowly the functionality of it is degrading, where they can do certain things and they can't access they can't access the studio, different studio session depending on which Bluebeam version initiates the session. So if it's like later versions of 19 and 20, they can't access those. But like if it's a lower version, then they could. So I think there will be some limitations because the older apps may not support all the full functionality
Yeah.
that you
I
may
think
get from the
it's-
session created in a later app.
It's starting to crash a lot too, since they're no longer supporting it.
Yep.
It's unfortunately not great.
That's the iPad app or the old Mac app?
The
Talking about-
iPad app.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, the iPad is such a sort of perfect tool for marking up in general, stylus, pencil, whatnot. Yeah, it'd be great
Well,
to
I
see
mean, the
that
cloud app is going to be available for the iPad as well. So that's actually a native app for mobile devices.
not via
so-
browser. It's an app.
So if you're running it on an iPad, it's an installed app for the iPad. If you're running it on a Mac, right, it's not a native app. You have to go through the browser.
And is this out already?
As far as we know, yeah, because we can log into it and test it. So whether there's a special iPad app that's already out, I will get back to you guys on that.
But
I know-
find out.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I mean, from their website and what they're saying is that the cloud app is supported on the iPad as on mobile devices as native app.
Let me look.
How do I get to the cloud on a browser?
So you'd go to app.bluebeam.com, I think. Let me see.
Yeah, Bluebeam Cloud is available in the store, in Apple Store. It's got 4 stars, 16 ratings. Wow.
Yeah, so you go to
Not a lot,
app.bluebeam.com and there's a sign-in button. Now
Oh,
you
I
do need to
see.
have a Bluebeam account to sign in, right? So what we suggest
Mhm.
people do, because you get a 30-day trial, is sign up for a trial, and then you have access to the cloud app.
Okay, cool.
And Alex, you found an iPad app
I found Apple.
on iOS?
It's an iPhone. Yeah,
iOS, yeah.
it's just type in Bluebeam and it's a Bluebeam Cloud. Right there. So
Again, I'm going to say that this is fairly limited tool set as compared
sure.
to what you get in the full version, but it's something that can be tested and see if you can adapt it for your workflow, at least for now. And obviously, they've promised it to us for a long time. So hopefully the development on this is going to ramp up and continue.
Could you potentially like screen share or show us what it looks like? Because for me, when I log in, it just says 0 projects and it doesn't look like there's anywhere to add a file to open or anything.
Let me see if I can get our child count. I haven't, so again, I had one of my engineers tested, so I haven't personally tested it myself. Let's see.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I can show you guys real quick.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, it says I can't screen share.
Oh,
Let me make you the presenter here.
Yeah, because I think I actually found this at some point, but couldn't figure out how to use it.
All right, Barbara.
So yeah, I logged into my account and this
So
is
you
what it
should
looks
be able
like.
to upload the projects here. Let's see.
Yeah,
Can
seems like nothing is clickable.
you click on your account icon there on the right?
right, top right. Yeah, not much.
Let me see what. Hold on, let me grab my instruction set that we had.
Is it permission?
And you have a child account, Barbara, or what kind of
No,
account do you
I
have?
have an actual licensed account.
Okay, hold on. Bluebeam.
So it's app.bluebeam.com. Does it default to /projects, or can you just go to app.bluebeam.com? What happens if you just
Yeah, I came in here
think it just it defaults?
and then it just has you sign in.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just do it again. I got this. Can you
Let
guys
me
still
check
see?
your inbox.
Yep, we see it.
and-
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And hover over no project.
See if you can just,
Yeah, that's not it.
I guess one question would be, see if you can just drag it in there. Let's see. Yeah, actually, so what we're getting is something different. Our screen looks different. And I guess maybe, so because again, we're signing up for trial of 2021. So it could be that there's a different version of the cloud for whoever has a 21 license. Possibly
maybe.
versus whoever is on previous versions.
Got it.
Um,
Okay.
let
Can
me- let
do
me
you want to
see.
share? Or
Sorry?
I was just saying if yours looks different, do you want to share?
Yeah, I'll share. And so I'm looking at the document. So let me find Zahin. So Zahin created his account. Let me see if I can find his login info here. Okay, no. All right, well, let me go. If you guys have a little bit of time, let me go and sign up for this real quick.
Well, I mean, we haven't planned this, but so yeah, if you want to hang out for a sec, let's see if we can make this.
Yeah, sorry.
While we're waiting
Oh,
for
it's great.
Boris,
Do it.
I guess sorry for that dangling comment earlier in the chat, but I did find the measurement tool in Acrobat, and I could
Awesome.
explain how I
Could you
did
share
that.
how to access it?
Yes, I think so. I was just trying to recreate it because it's really sort of fast backwards, but let me see. I could actually share my screen. Show you. We disabled screen sharing.
I think you got to make Peter a host. Oh, there you are. All your projects behind you. Love it.
Oh yeah, same exact ones from last week.
I know. Still cool.
Oh, I think Boris, sorry, I changed it back to you guys to be hosts. So I think Boris has to make Peter host. Sorry about that.
Okay. Hold on.
Do you have to actually make me honest? You can unlock it.
No, you
Screen
get
sharing for everybody?
you got okay, hold on. Yeah, I don't think I've initially when I set up the meeting, because it was supposed to be something different. I don't think I've initially
Here we go. Peter's
set it
host
up so
now.
that everybody could be a host. So now I have to manually change it.
Well, it's also kind of dangerous these days. Who knows?
Who knows what people have on their screens?
Well,
That's
people
right.
who, well, you know, there's no gate to this one, right? So we just,
Okay, this is Acrobat Pro DC, so I'm not sure if there's a version sort of distinction in the tool set. I've got this little ruler on the right. It says measure. And when I click that, it's giving me these 3 tools up here. This one called measuring tool. You click into it and it's, you can set the preferences so it'll find points. Very kind of clumsy, but so I can measure that. And so that would be my first step in getting this tool to work, is actually measuring off the PDF. Let's see, it says 2.5. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing that's 2.5 inches. So then I would have to right click. Sorry, wait, when I'm in the measuring tool, I would right click. Hang on. And then do this change scale. Can you see my menu pop up?
Yep.
So then you have to calibrate that. So I would have to set my 2.5 to equal 10 feet. So I just tried that and it wasn't working. So maybe I can't do this fully successfully, but this is the process of trying to make that work.
If you draw a new one, will it be correct maybe?
I didn't change the settings, so I'm assuming it'll still say 2.5 for a similar dimension over here.
Oh, yep.
But if I was smart enough, I would figure out what that 2.5 meant and then change that ratio. So it's just about clicking into this measuring tool,
Got it.
and then right clicking and you get this scale ratio. It's clunky, but it did work for me once in the past. So maybe it's just a matter of picking what.
Sure, we could YouTube it or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's how I discovered it originally.
interesting. Yeah, it's not, it looks like you got the settings right, but it's not converting. Yeah, still-
Yeah, there's something in the preferences to tinker with there. I've done it in the past. It's obviously not something I'm doing every day, but it did work once.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. Boris, what do you got?
I'm trying to log in. I can't. Hold on. It's almost there.
I love when tech guys have tech problems.
This is not well, so the LinkedIn Live one was a tech problem. But this one is more of finger to the keyboard problem.
It's your good old preparation problem.
I didn't think we were gonna get into this. So yes, that's my bad.
No, I think I caused this.
That's fine.
Now, Boris, as you're doing this, somebody is asking they were not able to log in, but they want the recording. We'll be able to share the recording with folks who sign up for LinkedIn Live, right?
Yeah, well, as we do usually, we send it out to our list.
But to our email list, but how about people who just sign up for LinkedIn?
Yeah, same thing. They'll we'll upload it to LinkedIn.
Okay.
Hey guys, high level, I have a quick question. For a Mac-based office, what are you guys using for BIM software? I know it's not about PDFs or Bluebeam, but I'm just curious what software you guys are running for BIM.
We're on ArchiCAD.
Are we?
Yeah, that's what I was assuming. Thanks.
We have a few clients using Vectorworks as well. Okay, so I did log in. Let me share this here. Now, I don't know where this is going to take us, but
It's an adventure. Let's go.
yep. So it tells me that my free trial will expire in 21 days, but I do have the new project button here. So new project 1. And once I click in, that's fine. Then we can add and upload drones to here.
So are they trying to make this more like Plan Grid or Procore?
Yeah, well, theoretically, it's right. It's a mix between the two. So this is not right. The cloud version is a part of the suite when you buy the regular version license. So I don't think they intend this to be a standalone app from that standpoint. But basically, you know, there's a reason why they have iOS app and mobile apps and also a web app is so when you are at a site, you're able to easily access the drawings that are already here. And you either upload them, or if you create a session in your standard Bluebeam, then you have access to that session from here as well. And then, yeah, I mean, kind of the punch list, Starfire, and submittals, this is more of Procore / Plan Grid functionality. But theoretically, we should also, so if I go back to my other project, let's see, hopefully there's something uploaded here. No, just messing with this. Let's see. Don't see anything. No. That's 2. Oh, create all these test projects and no drawings uploaded. Nice. All right. Ah, I wonder where they've put the drawings. Let's see. No, not this one. I think it's probably this one. Let's see if there's anything. No, still nothing. All right, but basically, let's see if we can upload something. I don't even know. Anything that's not sensitive here? Oh, my tech data invoice. Let's see. Yeah, that could be possibly.
Thanks, Steve. We appreciate you taking the time to attend. Hopefully this was helpful somewhat.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, boys, we got another maybe couple of minutes because, you know, people got to run and all that. We're coming up.
Yeah, so I think what we're gonna do is we'll record a video of
Thank you,
this
Jason.
workflow, and we'll share that out as well. I think that would be the easiest way to do this, because
Yeah,
I don't
that'd
want to
be
waste
great.
anybody's time. And Barbara, I will email that to you separately, just because you've been so grateful at providing feedback,
Oh,
and I know you're
thank
waiting
you.
for that answer.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you very much for joining. Those of you who are watching the recording, if you have any additional questions, hit us up at getarchit.com. We love you. We want to support you. And we thank you for your time. And hopefully this was helpful. From Boris and I, so long, and we'll see you on the next LinkedIn Live. Thank you for joining.
I need to
Good.
stop
Thank
sharing.
you.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so this video is about how to configure your trial account for Bluebeam 2021 and subsequently be able to test the Bluebeam Cloud application. This is a new application that Bluebeam just has released with version 2021. So you do need to create a separate trial account, or you need to have a license for version 2021. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to access the Bluebeam Cloud application and upload projects. So just follow these steps, and hopefully it works for you and you're able to test it out. And hey, if you do, give us some feedback on whether this application is working correctly for you. All right, so here we go. So first thing I'm going to do is create a Bluebeam trial account. So I'm going to go to bluebeam.com. And I'm going to say try it free. So that'll give me a 30-day trial. I'm going to create one for our service desk account because I already have a personal one. So and click on try today. So the service desk already has an account. We're going to use another email address here. Okay, it'll ask you to create some additional information and a password. And then they want you to put in some information about your company. And click next here. Give some information about when you plan on purchasing Bluebeam. If you're already using it, you can always just say 0 to 2 weeks. I'm just going to say more than 3 months to be a little bit honest. I don't want to get any emails because I'm already getting those from other places. So we're going to start the trial here. And it's going to start the download of the Revu application. So we can actually cancel that out because our goal is to get into the Bluebeam Cloud. Now we do want to also make sure that we are that our registration process goes through. They're supposed to send you like a verification email. So we can go back and see, there it is. So this is the verification email for Bluebeam, just to confirm and make sure that you are who you say you are. So we'll go ahead and confirm here. And once that's done, we can go and get started with Bluebeam Cloud. Now, when I created my password, I used the existing one I already had in LastPass, so hopefully I don't need to reset it again. So you go to access the cloud, go to app.bluebeam.com. You can sign in here with your email address, and we're just gonna do help at and I think we use this password here, which I need to figure out how to copy. And sign in. Awesome. I'm gonna add this to my LastPass. All right, so once we are in the app.bluebeam.com, so this is the trial version of the Bluebeam Cloud app, which is basically a version that can be used on the web. It's not operating system specific. Now it doesn't have full functionality, but I will also show how to get some of the tools that you may be using into here as well. So the free trial will expire in 31 days. That's great. I'm going to click on projects and I'm just gonna do a new project and we'll just say Arc IT test project. Once in here, need to add some additional information. And I can start uploading my drawings. I'm only going to upload one drawing just because so we were able to upload the drawing. Once the drawing is uploaded, it'll take a little bit of time of processing. If you guys have used PlanGrid in the past, you can see that it's very similar in terms of what the workflow looks like. And also, I think this tool is specifically designed to compete with PlanGrid, but also then have the functionality for additional markups and things. So we're just going to say ready to review. And basically, we can preview the drawings. We can update the metadata here. I'm not going to do any of that, but you can definitely do it. And then you can, once you review everything and you've set all the settings here, you can publish it. Okay, once we have it published, then we can go and actually use the app. So go to the dashboard and then just clicking on one of these files. Will open up the web version of the app. So as I said, very limited in terms of what the tool set is, but it does have some things that we're accustomed to seeing in our tool chest in the full version of Bluebeam. Now, what we can do is actually upload a tool set in here from your full version of Bluebeam. And if you guys don't have access to that, we've actually, we went in and we exported the default tool set from the desktop version of Bluebeam so that we could then import it in here.